Hi, welcome back. So today we're going to be looking at some more investment tools here for some of our long-term investors. And in TradeTally, you would go under the Analysis tab and then to Investments, and that will bring you to this page. And the first tab you'll see on this page is going to be this Stock Screener. If you haven't looked up anything today, or if it's not cached, what you're going to be presented with is the screen that you see here, where you can see possibly recent searches that you might have had. So you can see right here what the ticker was, as well as when you did the search. And if I go ahead and type in here, I could look up something like Apple. It will pre-fill some of the suggested tickers, so you don't necessarily have to remember them completely. You can also search for the company name, excuse me, like that, and you'll see the ticker there. You can also just click on a previously done search, and it will bring up the analysis for that stock. This gives you a quick little overview of the 8 pillars that you might want to examine or run by this stock to see if it fits for your long-term investment strategy. These 8 pillars are based on Benjamin Graham and his kind of philosophy into value investing. And as you can see here, we have the values for the 8 pillars. And then if you scroll down, you can also see the balance sheet, income statement, its cash flow, as well as some 10K, 10Q filings that will take you to the external links for those documents. And if you click on here, you can also do view details. This gives you a more detailed view where you can see a chart. You can change the time period of that chart if that's useful to you. And you can see the breakdown of these 8 pillar items. So like if I clicked into ROIC, return on invested capital, you can see the different years. It'll show you just 5 years in this detailed view, and you can do a quick comparison to get a little better idea of the stock that you're looking into. So if we go back and then we click on holdings, what you can see here is out of the holdings that we have here, the total value, the total unrealized profit loss, and this will also track dividends. So it will use the API to fetch dividends that are paid out, what percentage, and then it'll calculate that based on what you're holding to keep you or to give you a rough idea of what dividends you're receiving from these positions. So you can see here, if we scroll down, it'll see your holdings. And if you look at the symbol column here, you can see some that have open trade and some that don't. So the ones that don't are ones that you've added just as a holding. So maybe you're holding these somewhere else. Maybe you didn't import them. And then if you have open trade, that would be like if you imported with a broker sync or if you imported with a CSV, then you had, maybe I opened, I don't know, I originally bought 3,000 shares of CURR, and then I sold 1,100 of those shares. Now I have 1,900 shares still of that stock. And you can see here what I bought them at, what they're currently trading for, and the total value of that position. Also, if you do have long-term trades, this will track any splits that might happen on that stock. And then you can see here what your total profit loss is unrealized on that position. And then if we come over here to the stock scanner, if you wanted to find any more possible high value plays, you could click on the stock scanner, and this will scan based on the Russell 2000 and give you an overview of some good possible high value stocks that you might want to trade. So just as an example, this AMPH, Amphastar Pharmaceuticals, it'll show you that it has all 8 pillars. And if you click on this, it'll give you that more detailed view that we looked at earlier. And then you can decide whether or not this might be a good stock that you would want to trade. So you could see quick things like the price, market cap. And then if you come down here, you'll see the 8 pillars. And this is just based on industry standard thresholds. So for example, PE ratio threshold is 22.5. So if it's under that, it gets a green mark. All right, and then we will go back to that page, and then we'll do the final tool, which is the stock analyzer. And this is for if you want to put in your own assumptions on a stock that maybe you're thinking about buying. So we'll go with Apple, we'll click on that, and then that will pre-fill this stock valuation calculator. You can give it your bear, your base, and your bull estimates. And as you can see here, it gives you some idea of maybe what you should be putting in there based on the 10-year, 5-year, and 1-year values of the ROIC, revenue growth, profit margin, free cash flow margin, the price to earnings, and price to free cash flow. And so if I put in my assumptions here, so bear, I'm just going to take whatever the lowest is and maybe go a little bit lower than that. So we'll put 5% for the revenue growth, and then we'll do 6% and then 7 for our bull. And then profit margin, we'll just do 20, we'll do 22, and we'll do 24. Even my bull is going to be a little bit conservative. And then for the free cash flow margin, same thing, we'll probably do 20, 22, 24. And then PE, if it is a stock that you think has high growth potential, you might want to put a little higher PE in here. But for Apple, we're going to keep it 22, 24, and 26. I do think they have some room to grow, but not a ton probably. And then price to free cash flow, we'll just keep that 20. We'll do 25. Oops. And then we'll do 30. And then desired annual return. So obviously the price that you pay is going to change depending on what you want your desired annual return to be. And because you can usually get an ETF or just SPY and get about 10% per year, we're going to put that as our baseline for our bear guess. And then we'll do 12, and then we'll do 14 for our bull. And then we'll go ahead and click calculate fair value. And what that'll do is use the discounted cash flow calculation to calculate what you should be paying based on your assumptions here. And as you can see, even in the bear estimate, the stock is quite a bit overvalued here. So probably not something I'd be buying right now, but that is okay. And what you can also see down here is in your saved valuations. So if you do want to load that up at a later date and see maybe what your estimates are, maybe it changed, maybe some news came out that has the stock growing a lot more than what you originally assumed, you can just load that back in, edit your assumptions, recalculate, and then you'll be able to see if it's a stock that is worth it for you to buy. So there you have it. Hope you give it a try.